Most men ruin their chances with a female friend the moment they start trying too hard because attraction rarely dies from lack of effort, it dies from lack of feeling. No tension, no mystery, no shift in energy, just another predictable presence in her world. The brutal paradox is that the moment you stop trying to impress her is often the moment she begins to notice you differently. Attraction is not a performance, it is a shift in presence. In today's world of constant texting, notifications, and endless digital noise, many friendships between men and women drift into a comfortable but stagnant space where nothing exciting ever happens. You talk, you joke, you share memes, but the energy remains flat and safe, and safety without tension slowly erases attraction. Think of a bow and arrow. Without tension in the string, the arrow never flies. In the same way, without emotional tension between two people, the relationship never moves forward. Ancient warriors and philosophers understood something modern men often forget. Attraction isn't created by chasing, it's created by energy, and energy follows certain laws. The first is presence. A distracted man is invisible, but a man who is fully present becomes magnetic. When you speak with her and truly listen, without checking your phone or thinking about what to say next, your attention becomes rare, and rarity naturally creates value. Most men talk at women, but very few actually see them. The second law is mystery. When you reveal everything about yourself all the time, there is nothing left to discover, but when you move with quiet restraint, like the disciplined calm of a warrior, curiosity begins to grow. Humans are naturally drawn toward the unknown, and a man with depth becomes someone a woman wants to understand. The third law is emotional polarity. Attraction thrives on contrast, calm and intensity, warmth and challenge. Many male-female friendships stay stuck in the same friendly tone forever, but attraction often appears when the emotional rhythm shifts. Light teasing, playful disagreement, or a subtle challenge can suddenly introduce a spark that wasn't there before. The fourth law is controlled boldness. Many men stay safe forever, waiting for the perfect moment, but the perfect moment rarely arrives. Small confident shifts in behavior, holding eye contact a second longer, lowering your voice slightly, standing a little closer, can change the emotional atmosphere in subtle ways. Attraction rarely begins with dramatic moves. It begins with micro moments where the energy between two people quietly shifts. And the final law is self-mastery. True attraction does not come from trying to make someone desire you. It comes from becoming the kind of man whose life does not revolve around approval. A man with purpose, discipline, and self-respect naturally carries calm confidence, and confidence without desperation is incredibly rare. When your identity isn't built around chasing attention, your presence becomes relaxed and genuine, and paradoxically, that is often what draws people in the most. But philosophy means nothing without action, so there are simple ways to shift the dynamic in real life. Start with eye contact. When she speaks, hold her gaze calmly for a moment longer than usual before looking away slowly. This creates subtle tension without saying a word. Second, break predictable patterns. If you always meet in the same way, change the environment. Suggest a late evening walk, a quiet cafe, or somewhere slightly different. New environments create new emotions, and new emotions can change the tone of a relationship. Third, introduce playful challenge. Instead of always agreeing with everything she says, gently tease or question her perspective with a smile. A light challenge activates energy and keeps conversations alive. But here's the deeper truth most people miss. Turning on a female friend in 3 minutes isn't really about turning her on at all. It's about changing the energy you bring into the interaction. When you become more present, more calm, slightly mysterious, and quietly confident, the entire dynamic can shift naturally. Some friendships will remain friendships, and that's perfectly fine. But sometimes there will be a subtle moment, a longer glance, a brief pause in conversation, a quiet awareness between both of you that signals something has changed. Attraction isn't something you force. It's something that appears when the right energy exists. So the real question isn't whether you can suddenly change her feelings. The real question is this: when she looks at you tomorrow, will she see the same predictable version of you she has always known, or will she notice a presence that feels slightly different, calmer, deeper, more confident? Because the truth is that attraction rarely begins with a trick or a line. It begins the moment you become someone who no longer needs one, and when that shift happens, it rarely feels dramatic or obvious. It feels quiet, almost invisible at first. The conversation continues. The jokes are still there. The friendship still feels familiar, yet something subtle begins to change beneath the surface. She starts paying closer attention to what you say. She notices the pauses in your voice, the way you hold eye contact a little longer, the calm certainty in the way you carry yourself. This is the strange power of presence. When a man stops performing and simply stands firmly inside himself, the entire emotional dynamic begins to reorganize around him. Many men believe attraction must be created with clever lines or perfectly timed compliments, but in reality, attraction grows in the spaces between words. It grows in the moments when the conversation slows down and both people become aware of each other's energy. Think about the last time you felt drawn towards someone. It probably wasn't because of something extraordinary they said, but because of the way they made the moment feel. That feeling is created through small behavioral signals that communicate confidence without arrogance and interest without desperation. When you sit with her, slow down your speech slightly. Let silence exist without rushing to fill it. Silence, when held calmly, creates emotional tension, and tension is the birthplace of attraction. Another powerful shift happens when you begin to treat the interaction less like an interview and more like an exploration. Instead of asking endless predictable questions, observe something about her and comment on it in a way that feels genuine and slightly playful. Maybe it's the way she reacts to something, the way she tells a story, or the subtle expressions on her face when she laughs. When someone feels seen, not just heard, they naturally lean closer emotionally, but there is also a deeper psychological layer many people overlook. Humans are extremely sensitive to status signals, even in casual friendships. A man who constantly seeks validation unconsciously communicates that he sees himself as lower in the social dynamic, and that energy quietly erodes attraction. On the other hand, a man who speaks calmly, disagrees respectfully when he truly feels differently, and doesn't rush to gain approval sends a powerful signal of internal stability. This stability is deeply attractive because it feels safe yet exciting at the same time. It suggests that you are grounded in your own identity rather than constantly adjusting yourself to win someone over. When that energy is present, conversations start to feel different. She may tease you more. She might hold eye contact longer. She may even begin initiating conversations or invitations more often. These are not guaranteed outcomes, but they are natural possibilities when the emotional tone of a relationship evolves. And here's something important to understand. Attraction often grows when people experience contrast. If you've always been the predictable, overly agreeable friend, even a small shift toward calm confidence and playful challenge can feel surprisingly refreshing. The human mind is wired to notice change. When someone behaves slightly differently than expected, curiosity immediately activates. Curiosity leads to attention, and attention is the gateway to attraction, but this transformation should never feel forced or manipulative. If you try to imitate confidence instead of building it internally, people will sense the inconsistency. Real change begins with how you see yourself. When you stop viewing the situation as trying to make her like you, and start seeing it as sharing an experience with another human being, pressure disappears. Without pressure, your natural personality has space to emerge, and authenticity, when combined with calm self-respect, is far more powerful than any rehearsed tactic. Over time, if the chemistry is truly there, the relationship may naturally drift into a new territory where the emotional connection feels slightly deeper and more charged. Conversations may become more personal. Moments of silence may feel comfortable instead of awkward. Physical proximity may feel more natural instead of accidental. These shifts often happen slowly and organically, and when they do, they feel effortless rather than engineered. But even if the relationship never moves beyond friendship, something valuable still happens. You grow into a stronger, more centered version of yourself. You learn how to hold space, how to communicate calmly, how to create meaningful interactions without relying on external validation. Those qualities extend far beyond a single friendship. They shape how you show up in every relationship in your life. So in the end, the real transformation isn't about mastering a quick technique or discovering some magical 3-minute trick. It's about developing the quiet traits that make your presence naturally compelling: awareness, restraint, humor, emotional control, and a sense of purpose in your own life. When those qualities are present, attraction stops being something you chase and starts becoming something that appears naturally around you. And that is the deeper lesson hidden beneath this entire conversation. The moment you stop obsessing over how to spark attraction in someone else is often the moment your own energy becomes the spark. Because when a man truly becomes comfortable in his own presence, he unknowingly creates a space where other people begin to feel something rare: curiosity, intrigue, and a quiet desire to understand the person standing in front of them. And once that curiosity appears, the dynamic between two people can change in ways that no scripted line or rehearsed move could ever achieve.